told by a boy called Peter Robertson, a rather nasty individual I'll come back to in a moment. He had been told that the piece for Anglia Television, about Anglia, that Paul Barnes did, had been planned for months, and we hadn't informed anybody about it. We'd failed to keep members informed, and Tom Ling says we failed to keep members informed and operated off our own bats, which was total lies, complete and utter nonsense. We'd always had meetings at a regular time, and people just didn't turn up to the meetings unless there was money on the table or something they could get out of it themselves. On one particular occasion, Peter Robertson turned up and said to us that he was going to do a concert somewhere with some friends, and it was a private thing, but if they raised some money, then some might be donated to Cambridge Venue Group. So we knew what he was like. One of those that sat in pubs for hours on grinding his teeth, plotting, trying to figure ways to stab us in the back and mess up what we were trying to do. So that's the way some people have to go on, I suppose. And what he had done, he'd arranged a concert at Coleridge School, which is a junior school, by the way. They're all like under, whatever it is, 14, something like that. Junior kids, anyway. There's no beer being sold there, so it was going to be a concert open to any age. And he decided to give away free condoms to junior school children. So the headmaster said, well, no, you're not going to do that. The end. So then he called BBC, and they turned up with a Look East camera to do a story on it. And I think it's probably right. I don't know because I never saw the piece on the TV. But I would bet that he said he was doing this on behalf of Cambridge Venue Group, which he wasn't at all. He was a member of the Cambridge Venue Group, but it's a very loose membership. Nobody paid any membership fees or anything like that. They just were on a list that got information about when the meetings were. The end. So there was no question of, he was representing Cambridge Venue Group, or he was there on behalf of Cambridge Venue Group, which he wasn't. What he was trying to do was make some bad publicity for us, Peter and I, that we were trying to do the right kind of things to get this venue built. And of course, it's typical of his kind of attitude and the way he wanted to do things. Because at the same time, as I say, he came to Tom Ling and said, oh, they've planned this thing with about Anglia for months and not told anybody about it. But of course, they hadn't seen the piece. Because Peter Robertson was very involved with Macca Studios. And if you saw the TV piece, it opens at Macca Studios. And we'd actually had an arrangement to go there because we were going to film some 15-year-olds banging drums and plonking instruments and saying about how we wanted to set up kind of music workshops and that kind of thing. But then this came in with Paul Barnes the day before. So great, we can start it off at Macca Studios. But then we turned up the appointed time, 10 o'clock, and nobody was there to open the studio. And we tried phoning and that kind of thing, and nobody turned up to open the studio. So Paul Barnes and I went down to the Alma, had a Coca-Cola and a chat, and then Paul really nicely, very well, went in and into town, filmed some buskers, and Pete went down there with a guitar and did some busking. And we found John Woodhouse and Edwards, who was the head of the Conservative at that time, who did a little bit of an interview in, I think, in the Lion Yard there. And I did a little bit at the cattle market about it. And it was a very good piece. Because Robertson had slipped this in Tom Ling's ear, he had the idea of going in the press and saying that we weren't doing what we were supposed to do, which was complete and utter nonsense and a lie. But then there was another part to that, which was I didn't know until we'd recorded this bit with Tom Ling playing violin on Mean Business and Peter Ingram singing. It emerged that Peter Ingram, at some time in a couple of years before, had cuckolded Tom Ling with a woman called Julia. I'm sure he remembers it very well. But he had a grudge, and he was using his position at the council to get at us through this way. What had happened, we'd resigned as General Secretary, Press Secretary and Treasurer when Eric Orme was appointed. Eric Orme was the fundraiser the City Council had employed to carry through the beginnings of the junction. So that's fine. It was going to be built. The keystones were put down, as it were. So our concentration was going to be on the LP. And that's what my concentration was on then. So I said to Eric, well, fine. Big meeting at Macca now. Now Eric's been appointed. So now you can talk amongst yourselves, appoint a new General Secretary, Press Secretary, appoint a new Treasurer, and start a fundamental group that can manage the junction when it opens. And of course it didn't go that way. What happened afterwards, I don't know. Because I did go to a meeting, they were having meetings at the ju08 pub. And I went there to explain what I was going to do next with the LP and so on. And what happened? They said, oh, we're not going to carry on this meeting if you stay here. We're going to abandon it and go to somebody's house where you can't be at the meeting. And I'm still a member of the venue group. I'm a founding member of the venue group. But I was blocked from attending the meeting and explaining what my position was now and what I was going to do now. So that was Eric Orme for you. Another little tin god the city council had appointed, and then given the idea he has lodge backing, he can do what he likes. And nothing will matter because no crime will ever be committed by a lodge member or somebody supported by a lodge, of course.